3, Dale Greenwood, Eddie Barker. Table 4, Ben Flack, Adam Davis. Table 5, Ben Swinnerton, Lee Kendall. Table 6, Chris Hampson, Dan Eaton Lees. And Table 9, Robert Wharne, Neil Toms.
Is this live?
No.
Very good morning and welcome back to the McKeer Telford Centre Hotel for continued live coverage of Event 5 of the 2019 EPA Pool Tour. Up next, the last 16 match between Rob Wharne and Neil Toms. It's Neil that's won the lag and will get us underway in frame 1. Start he was looking for, yeah. Only one ball potted, which was the white. Starting to get to the business end now of this tournament. It started off with a round of 128 and a round of 64 last night. We came back at 9 o'clock this morning for the last 32. Now just 16 players remaining who will play down to a winner around about 10 o'clock tonight. It's an ideal opening opportunity for Rob Wharne. Ball split pretty much perfectly, not too much to do with the cue ball. Slightly out of position there though. Still not out of the woods yet, but good recovery shot there. Just got to be a bit careful. Needs to hold position with the white off the black here. Always nice to win the first frame with a single visit clearance. Settles you down into the match. Nice to see Neil Toms back on the tour, a long time stalwart of the event. Haven't seen so much of him recently, but the fact we're seeing him in this last 16 suggests he's back and means business. Wharne then gets the first frame on the board. Hopefully he breaks off in frame 2. Best of 13 this last 16 match. So first man to 7 will be going through to this afternoon's quarterfinals. Quarterfinals, both semi-finals and the final will be streamed live later on this evening. And no luck either on the break for Rob Wharne, although at least he hasn't putted the cue ball. So first proper look at the match of Neil Toms. As you can see there, a comedy foul there, swiping the yellow ball with his hand. So Rob Wharne back to the table with 2 visits and still open table. Something you see very often. What happened there? Neil just slightly reaching across the table, just lost his balance as he was getting up. Looks like it's going to be a pretty quick match. Rob Wharne's always a pretty quick attacking player. No harm done by missing that because he's got the second visit, but could have done without it because now he's got to deal with the black in the one visit. He would ideally have liked to have a spare visit in hand in case he needed it to deal with that cluster in the bottom right. So a bit more to think about now. He's got to make it count from here. Pretty much the perfect angle to pot the red. Just nudge into the yellow that's above the black, just free that out. Just looking whether he can get past the yellow to the red. It would be much easier if he can. Able to get through to that red. So he just wants to leave himself straight or just off straight on the red that's in the centre of the baulk line. Slightly protected by the yellow, so he couldn't really risk getting any closer to it. Just needed to leave himself this shot, so just going to roll this one across the centre of the table. Even though he's one frame up and looked like he was going to clear up in the second one, he didn't quite look settled yet. A couple of slightly edgy shots. So, virtually a practice position this for Neil Toms. The position of the yellows is absolutely perfect for clearance. Everything out in the open. It's usually very steady from this kind of position. simple style of play. Neil doesn't usually try and do anything too overly flamboyant, just very consistent. Makes the game look easy when he's playing well, and this was a pretty easy opportunity to start with. Well, not entirely as played, it's still okay. Just looking to get past the black. Well, nervy shots by both players, really, in this second frame. Will be pretty annoyed with himself not to have cleared up from that position. Rob's already missed one opportunity. So, more difficult than the shots he missed. Wow. Slightly scrappy. Second frame, it's Neil Toms that takes it though. Score's tied at 1 frame apiece. Reminder about our schedule for the rest of the day. So, coming up after this at 1:30, men's Premier League match. Then we'll pick up coverage of this main tier event at 4 o'clock. We'll be showing one of the 4 quarter-finals at 4. Then we'll be showing live coverage of both semi-finals. The first one at 6 o'clock, the next one at 8 o'clock, and the tier final following around 10 p.m. tonight. Good nudge on the cue ball there. The cue ball was about to go into the centre pocket, knocked out of the way by another ball. As you can see, the Reds have finished up pretty good. Even though he won the last frame, I don't know that Neil will have derived too much confidence from it, given he needed 2 opportunities in the end to make it count. So pretty keen to get this one done in the first visit. Positional shot to get on the last red. Fairly natural angle to come on and off the right hand side cushion for the black. Wow. Once again, the last ball getting away. He's just having to play that with a trace of side. He was a little bit thinner perhaps on that than he wanted, just making sure he held position for the black off one of the yellows, but I wouldn't expect him to miss a ball like that. So right now, neither player looking entirely confident to clearing up on the first visit. The difficult yellow is going to be the one on the left-hand side of the table. Well, this is turning into a comedy of errors at the moment. What's the thing, when you play fast and things are going well, it looks very graceful. When you play fast and things aren't going so well, it ends up looking a bit rushed. Oh, I mean, this is incredible. What are we seeing here? Neil Toms has missed a simple red followed by a simple black. Wharne smiling and looking to the heavens as he's annoyed not to be on anything. He'll be pleased, obviously, that he's back to the table. This was a frame that he will for certain have thought he'd lost a moment ago. So he's got a couple of long shots he can go for. So, again, a very untidy frame from both players. Neil Toms takes it though, he now leads by 2 frames to 1. Just joining us, you're watching live coverage of the EPA Pool Tour coming to you from the McKeer Telford Centre Hotel. I'm Mark Shepherd, I'll be providing commentary for this match. The last 16 encounter between Rob Wharne and Neil Toms. Been a pretty scrappy start so far. Both players have taken several opportunities and missed some pretty surprising balls. In between they both looked pretty good, but the volume of errors has been far too high to get either of them much further in this tournament, so they're both going to need to tighten up on that, whoever goes on to win this match. I think the two players, Rob is probably going to be the more annoyed at the moment, not only because he's 2-1 behind, but missed a couple of shots that he really wouldn't expect to miss normally. As has Neil, but I think just a slightly different character. I think he'll be slightly less phased. He looks like he's just going to get on with it, won't be too troubled by what's happened. So, first safety shot of the match. Up until this point, the balls had all been pretty open and both players looked like they were going to go for it at any opportunity. Still keeping up with that mantra of going for it at any opportunity. Played that shot well. It's been a little unlucky that red hasn't come further. So it's a bit hard when you're playing a double like that to know quite where the ball that you hit is going to go. So forced to play the safety shot. That yellow didn't quite go past the red, so limited value in going for the clearance. Really struggling with that middle pocket. Neil's missed several already into that one. Quite easy to get into this pattern of play. Once you see your opponent missing a few, you tend to subconsciously relax and start thinking you're going to get lots of opportunities. Sometimes that's a good thing and makes people play better. Sometimes you almost get a bit complacent and you see your opponent missing and you think, well, they're just going to keep missing. Sometimes you can take your eye off the ball a bit yourself. On paper, you'd expect this to be a pretty high quality match. Quite lived up to its billing so far. Plenty of time there, of course. First man to 7 frames will be going through to the quarter-final, so still a lot of pool to be played in this one. This is more like it from Rob Wharne. This is the kind of potting that we normally come to expect from him. So, no mistakes that time. 4 frames in the books. Score tied at 2 apiece.
In the tour on table 8, Phil Harrison, Dylan Leary.
So, Neil Toms then to get us underway in frame 5. Well, no ball potted. In many ways, though, that was a better break. He controlled the white really well. Normally the hallmark of a good break when the cue ball isn't flying around the table suggests that you've got most of the power into the pack of balls. And he's got things pretty well spread out. Unfortunately for him, it's going to be his opponent that gets first look at these balls. Not completely straightforward because there's red and yellow together on the top right, which probably points towards taking reds, but then the yellow top left that's blocking that pocket as well, so there's a few balls that don't have an immediately logical pocket to go for. Potentially clever shot. If he'd have reverse doubled that ball, he'd got the black out. If that happens, it's not turned out too badly either. He's nearly a slightly awkward spot. Very different style of play the two players have in terms of their cue action. Wharne draws the cue back further. Sort of more expansive cue action. Neil Toms keeps everything very compact. Doesn't draw the cue back so far or go forward quite so far. Largely a matter of personal preference, of course. Each style has its pros and cons. Wharne is probably the naturally better potter over distance. Neil Toms is generally the more consistent. Just keeps things very simple. Both players have set out their stall pretty clearly to play an attacking game. In a number of positions where, with a different couple of players, you can imagine things turning into a safety battle. Both of them have been pretty keen to get things open as quickly as possible. So, foul there from Neil Toms, the 2 visits away. Just asking for a foul snooker. The debate here is whether Rob can see the left-hand side of the red just below the H and A of Strachan on the ball cushion. Oh, surely not. It shows how deceptive these things can be. You'd swear for all the world from that angle that it was a foul snooker. Can't believe there's anything to be asking about. Tournament official Sean Baker coming over to make the adjudication. Very deceptive, isn't it? From that overhead view, the white looks to be practically touching the yellow. So a little bit more space. That does not look like you're getting the white past the yellow to hit that second cue ball, does it, from that position? actually quite significant whether this is a foul snooker, because the position he's in is not a good one to be playing any kind of shot from, whereas if he gets the foul snooker, he'll be able to pick up the cue ball, which will be enormously useful because he'll be able to line up one of the difficult balls on the baulk cushion. Well, the decision is that it's not a foul snooker. Trying to play the positive shot of bumping off one red into the other one, but it's going to be hard to control the position of that. And that really could turn out to be a pretty important moment in the context of this frame. A millimetre or two further over, he gets the benefit of the foul snooker, can pick the cue ball up and can play a completely different kind of shot. So that foul not proving at all costly for Neil. In fact, he's invited back to the table and was turned into a fairly promising position. Well, that's turned out pretty well. He caught quite a lot of the red there. There was a risk of that plant not going in, but now it has. He's knocked the red well out of the way. Left things absolutely perfect. So it's one of those situations where the foul from Neil actually almost turned out to be to his advantage. Forced his opponent to go for it from a tricky position, the result of which was the table being opened up for this counter clearance. Again, not entirely convincing still from either player, but good clearance in the end from Neil. He goes ahead again, this time by 3 frames to 2. Wharne then to break off in frame 6. Plenty of power into that break, but not the result he wanted. Both players struggling a bit with breaking on this table. Seem to be hitting the balls okay, but sometimes they just don't quite cooperate. The tablet in a red case on the table behind the players, moving to using live scoring done on tablets for the last couple of tour events. It's been a popular innovation, easier for the players to keep track of the score, and definitely easier for the tournament staff not having to go around taking a note of the scores, which is what they used to have to do in order to provide the live updates. Innovations coming up for next year's tour. Neil Toms, who's got a great record as a tournament organiser, has been invited to get involved in the management of the tour next year. It'll be a popular decision for a lot of players. He's got a good reputation. The announcement a few weeks ago that we're going to be moving to new grey cloths next year, away from the traditional green. Opinion slightly divided on that one. Not really any doubts over the quality of the new cloth, but a few that have been used to playing on green for a long time prefer to keep that, I suspect. Good to see some innovations though. It's important to move forward. The world has changed a lot since this tour was first established, so good to keep pace with modern times. For those looking to sign up for next year, go to the English Pool Association's website. So all about this one double. Cue ball's going to be travelling a bit all the way around the table. Perhaps I preferred it to travel a bit further than that, but happy to have a good shot at the black. Oh, good pot from Neil Toms. It's probably not, you would typically say, his forte. His short game and consistency in amongst the balls is how he wins the frames. Good pot on that black. So, starting to get up a bit of momentum now, ahead by 2 frames. Quick look at our schedule for the rest of the day. You're currently watching the last 16 match between Rob Wharne and Neil Toms. Up after this, one of the Men's Premier League finals matches, 1:30. And then restarting live coverage of the remaining rounds of the tour. All 4 quarterfinals will be played simultaneously at 4 o'clock. We'll be streaming one of them. And then the tour semi-finals, 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, live coverage of both, before the final coming up tonight at 10. Meanwhile, back to the table. It's Neil Toms to break off in frame 7, currently leading by 4 frames to 2. Maybe took a little pace off compared with his last break, but unlike his last break, he has potted one. It's a yellow ball he's potted, but no choice, of course, but to go for the reds. There's no pot on a yellow that he can go for. It's not worked out too bad, but it's not perfect. Played the positive shot there. He didn't have to cannon into the pack, but wanted to try and get things open. He's got everything open, bar the red that's tied itself up next to the yellow bottom right. Potentially got an angle if he wants to move it here. Not sure if he'll think that's a good risk though. Maybe just try and hold position. Slightly caught between a couple of shots there. It's now left this pretty awkward. Even if this red does go to the top right hand corner pocket, it's still not a straightforward opportunity. Feels like we haven't seen so much of Rob Wharne for the last couple of frames. It's been very positive the whole way through. You assume he's going to choose to cover this pocket. Well, he does, and almost gets so close to it that he pots it. I'd be relieved to see that staying there. Three of these balls are simple pots, but it's just a question of what you do with the last one. Well, interesting choice that. I don't blame him for that, but it's not something that everybody would have done. He knows full well that his opponent's pretty attacking, so he's going to go for it with these 2 visits. Well, that's a very significant fluke. The key thing there was keeping the first shot. If that ball hadn't fallen into the corner pocket, it would be absolutely the right decision for Neil to have played the deliberate foul that he did, and he'd have been in a strong position. Now, not so much so. 3 of the yellows in open play, and the one that isn't, you can use the spare visit to develop it. Might question whether that was the right way of playing that. There could have been something to be said for just developing that yellow there and then into a possible position, and then just clearing up with the remaining visit. So, again, another let-off for Neil. Back to the table in a position we would reasonably have expected to have lost from. See the scoreboard in the background. Neil Thomas' last match went to a deciding frame. 7-6 over Callum Singleton. Callum's been on a pretty good run this season, so that's a reflection of how well Neil must have been playing to get past him. Both players needing quite a few opportunities at the moment. Between 2 players of this calibre, you might have expected it to be a lot of first visit stuff. Not too many chances given away, but actually they've been letting each other off with a fair amount of regularity. Even there, he's come slightly the wrong side of this yellow, although obviously not a problem because the black's in such a straightforward position. Doesn't need to get too close to it. So, significant frame that. Rob Wharne wins it to stay within 1 of his opponent. Rob just stepping out of the arena for a moment for a comfort break. We'll be back with commentary when he returns. So, both players back in the arena. Rob Wharne to break off in frame 8. For a moment it looked like he was going to come up dry again, but one of the last yellow balls moving has found the centre pocket. red's basically pretty good. There's just the one that's slightly blocked by yellow at the top of the table. Still not as clinical as we typically see from Rob. Trying to play the red off the yellow there, didn't really get that close in the end. It's a similar equation really for Neil. He's got 5 yellows that go, and then it's just that one that's tied up at the top of the table. It's not actually going to be very easy to get to that one at the top of the table though. He hasn't got any balls anywhere near it to use to develop it. Oh, this player's really struggling with the pace at the table at the moment. He's left that ball way short of the intended target, which was of course to cover the pocket. See so many matches where great players like this make it look a very easy game. For large portions of this match they've both looked fairly fallible. Both played some good stuff, but thrown in some surprising misses amongst it. That's turned out pretty well. Recognising that he couldn't do anything with the yellow, the top left-hand corner, Neil's been trying to display a couple of containing shots, the last couple of shots. First one fell quite a long way short. That time he's at least got the yellow in the way, blocked things a bit. Rob hasn't really shown much enthusiasm for playing any kind of tactical game so far in this match. One of the first safety shots we've seen him play, in fact. Containing safety shots from both players. Pretty easy safety here. He can just screw off this red, get tight back, cue ball back where it is pretty much. Maybe done with getting that a shade tighter, but still hasn't left any opportunities for Neil. I think Rob's just going to cover this pocket. There's not a great deal of value in passing this ball. I think of the two players, Neil will be the more comfortable to have got into this kind of safety exchange. That's a pretty sensible choice when you think about it, because it's the benefit of clearing that pocket out and also enticing the opponent to move a few of the other balls. So the question is 2 visits going to be enough? He's got 2 balls tied up near the baulk line. Black only goes into the one pocket. Well, if he's going for that plant, it's not as easy as it looks. Seeing it on the screen like this, it looks like the balls are pretty much lined up, but it's quite an acute angle into the centre pocket. Well, all credit, I guess, for playing it in a positive way, because at least if he had gone in, he was giving himself the chance to win the frame. Playing at that pace, it was a pretty low percentage shot. You can see slightly unnatural cue action. A lot of body movement as he gets through the cue ball. Can't argue with the result, though. Visibly playing faster now as he gets through these balls. If we can hold this yellow without cannoning into the red. Ideally, I'd like to play the two balls in the bulk area first and then come down for the one on the right hand side of the table. It's back to what he's looking at again now. I think his nervousness here is that he's just slightly off angle on this yellow. He should be worried about losing the cue ball when he pots there. Yeah, that's why he had to play what at first sight may have looked a slightly unnatural shot. It looked like perhaps he could have just held it, but I think he had just a bit too much angle, which is why he had to play it like that. Good recovery shot though, and perfectly on this yellow now. Just screw across the face of the black for the black into the same pocket. So not that much to choose between the players, but Neil Tom's certainly good value for this 5-3 scoreline at the moment. Quick look through there at the last 32 matches that were played earlier on. And Neil Tom's, as I say, prevailing 7-6 over Callum Singleton. Rob Wharne, slightly easier match, 7-3 over Des Smith. Don't think it's anyone's favourite time of day to be playing a pool match. 9 o'clock always seems quite an early start. It's a game you associate more with playing in the evenings, but when you've got a long tournament, of course, to get through, you've got to make the most of the day. Even with that 9 o'clock start, the final won't be until about 10 o'clock tonight, so it's going to be a pretty solid day's pool for whoever goes on to lift this trophy. Right now, it's Neil Toms who's got the advantage in this match. Leading by 5 frames to 3 as he breaks off in frame 9. Very purposeful approach to the break. You see him lining it up. A few feathers back and forth before he releases the cue. Still not having any joy though. Another player finding it particularly easy to pot off the break so far. You can see from this overhead shot, no traffic blocking any of these yellows, so it's just a case of keeping control of the cue ball. Very important frame this. The difference between 6-3 and 5-4 is absolutely massive. If he was to go 6-3 down, it's such a difficult position to come back from, because you know that any mistake could be the end of the match. 5-4, he'd be right back in it. Still in pretty much prime position. It's one of these ones where your opponent clears off a dry break of yours. What seems a pretty easy position, you always feel a bit hard done by. I think if you just managed to pot a ball off the break, this would all have been yours. So black safely down. Rob Wharne in no time at all pegs one back. Neil Thomas now leads by 5 frames to 4. Yeah, big powerful break by Rob Wharne. Still pretty much the same result that we've seen the whole way through this match though. You've got to put it down to the table really. Both players seem to be hitting the balls pretty well. Not that there's anything visibly wrong with the table, it looks to be playing pretty well. Just for whatever reason, neither of them seems to be able to pot a ball off the break. I guess you could consider that's at least a fair outcome if they're both in the same position. Where matches can very quickly get one-sided is if one player's potting off the break and the other isn't. That can quickly turn into a big scoreline. Here the opportunities have really gone back and forth between the players. Quite get that cannon right. I want to just try and get that yellow over the left-hand centre pocket. As a result of which he'd left himself quite a lot to do there. Even 9 frames into the match, neither player looking completely settled yet. Both now taken out a couple of decent clearances, but they've definitely let go a number of opportunities that on another day they would have taken. So you can all play this red off the black and the yellow and clear things up. Not bad. Black's still pretty tight, but everything else now goes at least. Well, nervous look there, just checking he hasn't got that yellow in front of the black. If he's covered it for the corner pocket, that will be really quite a bad outcome. Again, a pretty significant frame, this. Guess you could say that about a lot of them, but the difference between 5-all and 6-4 also sounds pretty big. Good shot there, well controlled. Never easy when you're playing a ball as fine as that to keep control of the cue ball. Judged it really nicely there, so still in prime position for the 2 reds at the top of the table. It's just an issue of getting as close to that black as possible. Not able to get right behind it. It depends if he fancies playing a more elaborate positional shot. The natural outcome of this shot is going to be to leave the black at reasonable distance. So fancy playing this with right hand side to try and if you could punch it on and off the ball cushion with the right hand side and try and get a bit close to the black. Not too much angle for that. So, tricky black ball this. Oh, great shot. Well, when he hit it, it looked like that was in, but just came away from the cushion at the end. Very difficult shot there, played from distance. If he'd been right behind that black, he'd have had a pretty high degree of confidence in potting it. But playing from that far away, it was never a certainty. That's exactly the cannon he didn't want. If he'd have just gone past that yellow, he'd have had a chance at cutting it back to the centre pocket. If he wants to pot it from here, he's going to have to play it to the corner, which is by no means a certainty. The cushion quite early, but the pace was right for it to drop in. So, does he think this yellow goes off the black? If he thinks there's space down the right hand side of the table to squeeze this yellow in, he just needs to roll this ball into the top right hand corner and the cue ball will naturally go across that way. If not, he's going to have to screw this side of it. So, one good pot now. Tight for the centre pocket. Good shot there. That's normally the kind of shot he's very good at. He's missed a couple into that pocket already today, but normally very steady with them. Black safely down, so Neil Toms now moves within one of victory. He leads Rob Wharne by 6 frames to 4. A few updates from around the room. 8 of the last 16 matches still underway. Carl Sutton leading Rich Wharton by 6 frames to 4. Lee Barker 3-2 up against Dale Greenwood. Josh Kane tied at 3 apiece with Mike King. Tony Kendall tied at 2 apiece with Ben Swinnerton. Dan Eaton Lees 5-2 against Chris Hampson. Dylan Leary 2-0 up against Phil Harrison. And at the bottom of the list, Ben Flack currently leading Adam Davis by 5 frames to 2. The score that matters to us right now, though, is the one that's immediately in front of us, which is that Neil Toms only needs this frame or either of the next 2 frames to book his place in the quarter-final. So effectively we've got 3 chances to get the job done now. Well, much better break that time. Not really a better break in terms of outcome. You actually hit the ball in quite a similar way all through the match. That time a yellow ball found the pocket. He's got 3 opportunities to book his place in the quarter-final, but of course he'd like to take the first opportunity. Finished about as awkwardly as it could have done. Did the right thing and tried to get on that difficult road as quickly as possible. Has left himself precious little to do here. No choice but to play the containing shot. Just going to try and get the white in tight behind that red.
Before we start the first Premier League session of the ladies, would you want to just come over to the corner here where the EPA pop-up is? I just want to speak to you for a second, all of you.
This is the 5th and final tour event of the 2019 season. Just here, tournament staff in the background calling the Ladies Premier League players over for a brief team meeting before the matches start. Reach the business end of both the men's and ladies Premier League. very competitive events, as you'd expect. The top players in both competitions. A lot to play for this weekend. It's this main tour event, challenge event, and men's and ladies Premier League matches playing the final rounds. This is a season that started way back in late January, early February in Blackpool. We enjoyed some slightly more summery weather for the tours in the middle of the year, and now back to the cold weather. Not quite as cold as Blackpool yet, but winter has definitely arrived today, so everyone happy to be inside playing pool rather than outside in the rain. Well, I wasn't expecting probably to pot that, but he was expecting to get it a bit closer to the pocket than he did. That's a good shot from Neil. Looked for a moment I could hear it so well it might drop in, which wouldn't have been a particularly good outcome. He'll be very happy to see it staying there blocking that pocket. If any of the other balls were tied up, Rob would be happy to bump this yellow out and wait for next time. The problem he's got is that there probably isn't going to be a next time because all the reds go now. Or at least they will all go if he moves the yellow that's closest to the cue ball. It's nice to end the season on a high. All of these players will be hoping for one last hurrah before the winter break. So now a bit of a hiatus for Christmas. Next year's tour already announced. This event will be, as has been for the last few years, at the Imperial Hotel in Blackpool.
Table 12, Helen Rouage, Alexandra Kuna. Table 13, Sharon James, Sophie Gibbs-Nichols. Table 14, Casey Ramford-Dory, Dawn Wright. Table 15, Sharon Lund, Frankie Rogers. Table 16, Joe Taylor, Ollie Catt.
Well, good effort from Rob Wharne to try and get that ball into the centre pocket. Well, have played his last shot of this match though. This ball's looking pretty good for Neil Toms. The one at the bottom right hand corner of the table, although it's in a pretty open place, it's a little bit shielded by all of those yellows, so it's probably Rob's best hope for this clearance going wrong. The ones at the top of the table you couldn't really imagine presenting a problem. Well, he's landed on it now, so he's going to take it. Well, that's a bit of a result to drop on that one. Had a choice of other balls, of course, at the top of the table, so it didn't matter if he wasn't, but that's made life so much easier to get that one out of the way. So, just 3 simple reds. It's lucky that this is a relatively straightforward plant. It's never easy when you're keying over a ball like that. So, perfect angle on this red. Cue ball will be naturally coming down the table towards the black. Certainly wouldn't say it's a vintage match. Both players have played well. Neil Toms has unquestionably been the better of the players, and particularly as the match went on, grew in confidence. Looks a lot steadier at the end than he did at the beginning. So, Neil Toms prevails by 7 frames to 4 over Rob Wharne. Now be a little bit of a break for a while. Our next streamed match will be at 1:30, the Men's Premier League match. And then we'll be resuming live coverage of this main tour event at 4 o'clock tonight with the tour quarter-finals. Thanks for your company in this one. I hope you can join us for the next one.